deaths, and there were 27 people that were injured. Look at that. This big wall, long wall, all the ones in yellow with the yellow dots, they ended up surviving. The red ones are people who actually died. But the first one at 7 o'clock on Friday night, that was a 33-year-old woman who was just driving, and she was shot in the eye. She's in serious condition. Then there were two that were right at that same evening. There were two more that were killed. One was pronounced dead on the scene. The other went to the hospital and died there. Then if you keep, I'm flipping through all these papers of all the injuries. Then at 1:17 on Sunday, a 5-year-old little boy was killed inside an apartment when he suffered a gunshot wound to the head. He was taken to the Children's Hospital, later pronounced dead. Then right after that, at 4:43, a 17-year-old boy was inside a residence, sustained a single gunshot wound to the head. He was transported to Chicago Medical Center in critical condition and later pronounced dead. And the list goes on and on. The next one was a 25-year-old man who was shot and killed. But I have this paper. Can we show this? Look at this. This is all.
It's pages and pages.
You won't be able to see it, but all of these pages are all of these injuries, one after another.
But the mayor said
from one weekend.
Crime's under control. He said under control. We don't need any help, and we don't need any more cops. Pastor Corey.
We got to talk about Chicago once again, okay? An American city that's nicknamed after a war zone, Chirac. Because Mayor Brandon Johnson, okay, the mayor of Chicago, if you didn't know who Brandon Johnson is, he went on BS Now and went on to Joe Scarborough's show, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. And Joe Scarborough asked him a simple question. And I want y'all to take a listen to how he answers this. Listen, either, I'm going to put this nicely. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. Either the lights on, but nobody is home, or the Democrat Party, by and large, I mean, from top to bottom, from, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Obama and all of those folks, which I've heard some rumors about Obama, but some other things, and maybe I'll make a video on that, all the way down to, your local Democrats, right? Like a Mayor Brandon Johnson, amongst others. They've all been trained on how to answer questions, top to bottom, because what he does is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So with that being said, plus I got some other clips that I'm going to show you guys after this, so make sure you stick around to see those as well. You're not going to want to miss them. But with that being said, let's dive in.
Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Now, that's the second time he's asked him the same question.
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
That's the third time.
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that we don't.
That's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer
Fourth time.
if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Fifth time.
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing and youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our Detectives Bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago, when we solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that we're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago. We've seen these coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors. What I'm simply saying is, if we're going to build safe and affordable cities across America, the one thing that safe communities all have in common, they invest in people. We have a poverty issue in the city of Chicago, and
I gotta run that back. You can audibly hear Joe Scarborough, like, do. I don't know if y'all caught that. I'm gonna rewind it back. See if you can catch it.
What I'm simply saying is, if we're going to build safe and affordable cities across America, the one thing that safe communities all have in common, they invest in people. We have a poverty issue in the city of Chicago and cities across America. Police officers alone will not put food on the table. Police officers alone will not guarantee a high quality education. Police officers alone won't drive down unemployment. We need all of it. The President of the United States of America and the federal government could restore Medicaid. They could restore SNAP. They could stop defunding our public education system. Here's the most important point here. Justice Brandeis, over 100 years ago, the first Jew.
Okay, that's enough. He's just rambling. So y'all let me know in the comments. Either, and I'm putting this nicely, either the light's on but nobody's home. Like, he just clearly can't comprehend a simple question. Or the Democrat Party, from top to bottom, has been trained on how to redirect things and continue to basically say the same thing over and over. Because we've seen this with somebody like Hakeem Jeffries, the exact same thing. Being asked the same question over and over, but still dance around it or answer it in a very specific way. Time after time after time again. It's the same thing. And Joe Scarborough made sure that he was like, hey, yo, if you get all of these things that you're talking about, if you get this money, right, which I don't think spending more money is the greatest thing. Chicago's already having budget issues. And I don't want the federal government to come in with a bunch of more money just for Brandon Johnson to blow it. He should have been spending that money on his citizens and not the illegals, and he wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. But that's the only thing that Democrats come up with. Spend more money. We just need more money. Well, maybe if you would have spent the money that you had responsibly, you wouldn't need more cash. So no, we're not going to come in and give you more money. But once again, and I played a video for you guys yesterday of, some folks of Chicago that want more police and Trump to come into the city because it is dangerous. Like, check out this clip from CNN itself.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded.
And that is the one answer that they always come up with. It's the same thing that they were doing last year. The economy is great. The economy is great. Crime is down. Crime is down. You're down from like 800 people a year being put in a pine box. 800 homicides a year. Yeah, crime is down. Okay, it's down to 600. Whoop-de-doo. There's still bodies dropping all over the place. Like, what? This stuff is ridiculous. But crime is down, you know? But, hey, she's not the only one.
Man, they talking about sending the National Guard to Chicago, man. I'm not gonna lie, this is scary, this is scary, this is scary, this is scary. Send the Marines! Send the Navy! Get chop, bring everything! I want the Army, I want ROTC, I want OOS, I want the Tribal Chief, yeet! Yeah, cause Chicago is a hot goddamn mess. I work downtown. I do this every day. I see delinquency. I see violence. I see littering, pollution. I see filth. I see homelessness. I see suffering. Send the whole goddamn fleet.
Send the whole fleet. Hey, listen. It's not nicknamed Chirac for no reason. I'm just saying. Actually, there's more to that video. Hold on, my bad, y'all. There's more to that clip. I cut it off a little too short. Let's.
Chicago is hurting. We hurting.
So I guess there wasn't much left. But yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous, you know? And it's funny because you would think that, and I said this before and I'm going to say it again. Matter of fact, I'm going to let this brother say it because he lays it out perfectly. It's exactly what I've been saying.
If Black Lives Matter, how come in the past 11 days since President Trump has federalized the DC Metro Police, no black individual has been unalived? I'm going to say that again. How come in the past 11 days, no black person has been unalived in D.C. since President Trump has taken over the D.C. Metro Police? There's a stat that says in the past 7 years in D.C. that black people are 112 times more likely to be unalived than white people. So if Black Lives Matter, the left, Democrats, progressives, how come you all are not celebrating that no black person has been unalived in the past 11 days in DC since Trump took over?
Simple answer. Because they don't actually care. They don't actually care. One, they don't actually care, and two, their party as a whole, it's broken. Trump has absolutely broken the Democrat Party, and their only message is oppose anything and everything that Trump does. That's it, and that is all. We're not here to actually help the citizens in these communities, especially the ones that we say we care about the most, black folks, right? We're not actually here to care about those folks, okay? Because if Democrats did actually care, like he said, why aren't they celebrating? Not a single black person has died, and now I believe it's up to like 13 days, if not a little bit more. Not a single black person has been put 6 feet in the dirt due to homicide, of course, right? Due to homicide. Not a single one. Shouldn't that be something that they're all celebrating? Like, you know? Shouldn't that be something that they're clapping for? Excited about? It should be, but it's not. So ask yourself, why not? The only logical answer is they don't actually care. And it's something that I've talked about for a long time now, and you guys can attest to this, right? If you truly care and love a group of individuals or anybody, right? You shouldn't have to constantly try to tell them how much you care about them. It shows. right? Democrats are always talking, we care about this group, we care about that group, we love these people, we love those people. Why do you have to tell us? If you actually care, we would just know, we would feel it, we would see it. You would be out here celebrating. Even if, let's put it this way, even if they don't like Trump and still want to poo-poo on Trump, they can still say, hey, we don't agree with what Trump is doing, but what we are going to celebrate today is that no black person has been put 6 feet in the dirt. You know, they can do both things. They can still take a dump on Trump while celebrating, right? But they still can't do that. Still don't do that. And we have other examples as well, right? Of them, you know, showing that they truly don't care about their constituents. I mean, we can talk about the famous example since we're talking about Chicago right now. Schools in black areas of the city closed down. Oh, why'd you close them down? Well, because we don't have any funding. The schools are going broke. Oh, okay. Illegals come in. Schools not only reopen, but they renovate the schools so that the people, some of the families can live up top while the kids go to school down below. But I thought you had no funding. You didn't have funding for the black people that you care so much about, you know, the same ones that voted for you, but you got all the funding in the world to take care of the illegals when they come to your city. So much so that you were willing to go in debt, that you were willing to pull money from different things to the point where now they're having a budget issue, right? And they're going to hike up property taxes probably, which Brandon Johnson actually campaigned on not doing, but that's neither here nor there. They'll pull all types of strings. They'll go to the moon and back for illegals, but they wouldn't do it for the black folks in their own cities that voted for them. But I'm supposed to believe that they care about black people? Really? Make it make sense. Can't fool me. Cannot fool me. But anyway, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this, man. This is just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, on one hand, I'm happy that it's happening because it's actually exposing who the Democrats really are and what they truly care about. Obviously, on the other hand, it is sad. It is tragic because lives are being lost while they're playing political games and Trump is just trying to clean it up. Trump is just trying to clean the same thing that he did in D.C. He's trying to bring that to Chicago to stop the violence. And no, of course not. You can't do that. They would rather see black people continue to be put 6 feet in the dirt rather than have Trump come in and clean it up or help them clean it up. Absolutely ridiculous. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.